Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my New England story. At least it's morning here while I am recording this. Today's video is going to be a little different. I wanted to share some of my food preservation with you. From what I recall, I probably started as a young mother or a young bride doing jams. I probably started with strawberry freezer jam. That is definitely one of my favorites to this day. And then I got into canning when the girls were younger. We had a large garden. We had 3 acres of land, and so I decided to get into canning, freezing, preserving all of the goods. And yes, when you're starting, it can be a little scary, a little overwhelming, especially once you get into using a pressure canner. And today's video is merely about encouraging you to give it a try if you've never canned before, or to maybe get back into it like me. When our girls were in their teenage years, we got so busy with the extracurricular activities, sports, dance, you name it. So there was a lot of running. And honestly, I got out of canning. I would do a little here or there, maybe a few of our favorite things such as salsa, jams. Freezing, of course, was so much easier. But it was the past couple of years that I've really gotten back into it again. And yes, it is pretty much just Mark and I now. However, we do still feed our entire family at times, and I like to have some things maybe for the girls even to take home. 2 of them are in small apartments, so they don't have a lot of storage. But, and of course I have a daughter in Texas, so she's learning to do her own. She just made her first jam this year, so I was encouraging that. I'm just noticing, look, I have a couple of my little white pumpkins. They're the minis. They're starting. So as you can see, I have a very small, what I call kitchen garden. I do have my herbs. I have a little bit of this, that, and everything in here. As you can see, my dill has done well, and I have done a batch of dill pickles this year with the cucumbers from my garden. Again, very small garden. Over here I have my yellow wax beans, and I have gotten enough out of just this tiny patch to freeze some. We've eaten a little, and I think I have possibly another picking to do here. So let's go ahead, let's head inside, and I will show you what I've already started. Okay, friends, this is real life. Welcome to my chaotic canning kitchen. I left it as is just to show you, this is what it's looking like right now. And I wanted to kind of share my thought process on how I do things. Like I said, this is merely to hopefully encourage you, if you have never canned before, to maybe try something. If you've been out of it for a while, get back into it. Start with some smaller things. It is a lot of hard work, however, it's just very rewarding, especially in the middle of the winter when you are eating these fresh foods and you know what's in it. So what I did is I pulled out what little I have left. These are the items that are left from previous canning. So now I see what I have and what I need to accomplish this summer. This is my list here. I just wrote down a list of things that I would like to do. These are my goals, crossed out items that I have already done. I did have to purchase some more jars this year. Now, if you are a canner, you know how we end up with more jars than typically we need. However, when we moved from Michigan, I got rid of so many, thinking, I don't know if I'll get back into it again. Well, look what happened. So I did purchase a few more. I have some that I did bring with me, still down in my basement. But I had to share, look at some of these, they're so cute. These I liked, I don't know if you can tell, it has a little floral pattern on it, and that is the anniversary edition. And then look at these. I thought they were so cute. Can you see the little bees? Where is a good one? Let's see. Here you go, that's a better look of the little bees on there, a honeycomb. So they were too cute to pass. These are just plain here. I did have to get more screw tops. These get rusty after a while. These I thought they were fun because they are a copper color. So again, trying to add decor always. That's me, trying to make things cute. So here is what I've had in my stash. And then this is what I have gotten done so far this year as far as my canning goes. I did do some freezing also. So I did just one batch of dill pickles, and I'm proud to say these are from my garden, the dill and the cucumbers. Here I tried a new recipe. So this was supposed to be zucchini bread jam. Well, first time in my life, my jam did not set. Look at that. So of course I wasn't going to throw it away. It tastes really good, and I decided to make it into syrup. I did try this on a pancake this week, and it's really good. It does taste like zucchini bread. I think the recipe that I followed, to be quite honest, I'm not sure that it was portioned correctly as far as pectin to the zucchini. I don't know. It could have been my fault. Anyway, that's what we have there. And then I did a sweet relish. One thing on my list this year is definitely salsa. Salsa is something I have to make pretty much every year. We go through it a lot. This is so good. The ingredients are dehydrated vegetables, as far as onion, green pepper, chili pepper, red bell pepper, garlic, salt, spice, which includes paprika. So that is what's in it. So basically it's your spices. Now I add, of course, I do tomatoes and green peppers and onions. You add whatever you want to your salsa. I do plan on making several batches because my cousins Ross and Shanna are coming to visit us in October, and Ross has been known to eat a whole jar. So we're going to make sure I have plenty for him. The other thing that I tried this year for the first time is a peach berry lavender jam. This is so good. I have never made this before. I wanted a way to be able to use this lavender that I picked up at a farmer's market this week. And so I started looking for recipes. I did want to try to make some peach jam this year. So this is what I found as far as a recipe, and it is delicious. It is so good. I'm going to make another batch, and I'm going to do smaller jars. I have my jars right now in the sink, washing them up, getting ready to put them in the oven to keep them warm. And I'm going to do smaller jars so that I can give some away as gifts, and I'm pretty sure my daughters are going to want to take some of this home. And of course, again, I had to try to make it cute. I had purchased by accident some unbleached waxed paper. I thought I was getting parchment paper, and I was not. So this is the way I decided to use it. I don't know, just add a little twine, some waxed paper. It makes it kind of cute. Here are the rest of the peaches that I need to do. So I'm going to do another batch of the jam, and then I am going to freeze the rest of these. These are from a market that I got 2 days ago, and they're nice and soft right now. So once I'm done recording, I'm going to get started on that. This is cute. It's a Susan Branch little recipe book, and I keep some of my special recipes in here. I have another one, I have it filled already. So I got this, and then I found this at a local farm market. It's the Merrimack County Local Food Guide, and it lists all of the different farm stands just in that particular county. And again, as a fairly newcomer here to New Hampshire still, it is a nice little guide that gives you maybe the less known places sometimes. So maybe see if you have one of those for the area you live in. They are pretty helpful. I canned green beans, as you can see. I also froze my yellow wax beans. Now the green beans I did have to buy at a local little farm stand. And you know, that's the other idea. If you're like me and you don't maybe have a large garden, this is the time of year to either buy from farm stands, farm markets, possibly even your grocery store. I know our local store, Hannaford's, has a section, and it's all local produce. So that's a nice way too. Anyway, back to the beans. So I did an experiment. As you will see, when I was canning my first batch, and that is this one here, I was seeing online where people were adding zinc to their canned green beans to preserve the color. So I have zinc on hand because I do take it, especially during cold and flu season, or if I feel like I'm coming down with something. And unfortunately, I only had the capsules, so I had to break them open. So if you're going to do it, I would recommend getting the tablets so they dissolve. But I want to show you something. So of course I had to experiment. Now I did this batch here without the zinc. So let me show you the difference there. Okay, can you see the difference in the color? There is a difference. So if that's important to you, you know, there you go. Now, the other difference too is I packed these raw. These, as you can see in the video, I did just blanch the beans first. As you can see, I threw a few of my yellow wax beans in this one. So that is the only difference. That would not make a difference in the color. I think it's the zinc. And I hope that shows up on film for you. It is slight. It's not a huge difference, but fun little experiment. I do have a video from a couple of years ago where I made this pepper mustard. It's made out of Hungarian peppers. It's really good, another family favorite of ours. If I remember, I will link that below. However, and I kind of showed you today how, you know, a little bit of how I was doing the beans, but there's so many tutorials on YouTube. If you would rather read blogs, there's all kinds of information here on social media. But this is how I got started. I've had these books forever. The Ball Blue book, you know, and you can still get these. I think they even have a larger one. As you can see, mine is well used. And I mean, I even have, I think there I even have, see, it's stained and it's well used. That's a good sign. And I had purchased this one at an Amish grocery store many years ago. It's thin, but it has a few recipes in there and how-tos on canning. And then this is just a Kerr home canning and freezing book. I believe I inherited this possibly from my mother-in-law. That's it for the canning. I want to take you down to my freezer and show you what I have there. Okay, welcome to my lovely basement. This is my little gem. It's just a tiny, I don't know what the cubic feet on that is, but it's just a small chest freezer. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that I have in here. Now, as I open it up, you're gonna say, oh my gosh, it's empty. We have a little story about that. It was not empty. About a month and a half ago, Mark was working down here. We were having issues with some electrical problems. He unplugged this, forgot to plug it back in, and a week later, we found it. Oh, I was I was just devastated because I had, again, as I'm showing you, I mean, freezing is not as hard as canning, but it is a lot of work and a lot of money. And he felt awful, so I really couldn't say anything. Anyway, we are replenishing, and this is what I have so far. So early on, with strawberry jam, I love to do freezer jam. It's just something I grew up with and that my children grew up with. So that is the only one that I do as a freezer jam. I also like to, these are just, of course, einkorn flour chocolate chip cookies that I scoop them out into the balls, put them on a cookie sheet, freeze them, and just put them in bags. So now they're fresh from the oven. I can do just small batches as I need them. But back to my freezing. So we went to Maine last week and we picked blueberries. Now, we picked regular blueberries, so you can see the size on those. So I just froze a bunch of those. And then, again, like I was saying, we stopped at Hannaford's. They had some of the Maine wild blueberries local, which you can really only get those at little farm stands or in the grocery stores. And then I did find some here locally that were New Hampshire wild. So you can see, if you're not familiar with them, I'm hoping you can tell they're very tiny berries compared to these here. They are so sweet. The jam that I sell in my store, I'm not trying to promote it, but I'm just stating a fact. They use the wild blueberries in that. They are just delicious. So anyway, I have a bunch of blueberries there. These are my yellow waxed beans, and I just put enough in basically for a meal for Mark and I. So I have several bags of those. I did freeze some of my rhubarb from my garden this year, and I froze some zucchini. So that is all I have. Yeah, those are beans. As you can see, I have quite a few things down here, but that is basically what I have in the freezer. I do want to do some corn, and today I am going to be freezing peaches. So slowly but surely, we are getting this stocked again. And again, in January, when you come and take out a bag of these beans or the blueberries to bake something, oh, it just tastes so good. I need to get to those peaches because, as you can see, I have a little bit of work ahead of me. I have been called for jury duty twice. I have to go 2 weeks this month, so I need to get this stuff done now. And speaking of which, I'm not sure I will be able to get a video up every week. I'm sure they're not going to let me videotape in the courtroom. So anyway, just a little heads up on that. Happy canning, friends. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.